wash away my tears. Let the shadows hide my fears. Let the pain teach me to be strong, yeah. As life goes on, as life goes on, help my heart find the love within. Let my dreams sail with the
Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. Joe the Shirt's here, and I am off the cuff as usual. So good to be back. Sorry it took me so long. This time not as long as last time. It's only been about a week. I had wanted to get some other stuff done, but I've been working so much lately that you know how it is. By the time I get home, I don't have energy for sex, much less doing a web radio show. I barely have enough energy to walk the dog, eat. And these days, watching TV is tiring. Okay. Add to that, I am now. Let's see. 15, 16, 17. I am now 18 days sober. Woohoo! Yay me! Sobriety sucks. It's so boring. And I'm not losing any weight, which is not the reason I do this. But it's like usually in the past, when I stop drinking for a month, I lose about 5 or 10 pounds. So far, I think I've lost 2, maybe. And I think part of the reason that is that since I'm not drinking, I think I'm eating too many sweets. Because when you drink a lot, your body gets accustomed to a certain amount of sugar. Be it beer, wine, or the hard stuff, there's a lot of sugar in there. Your body gets used to it. And I'm not drinking, so I'm having Ho-Hos and Snickers bars and cakes and cookies and ice cream. And I got to stop doing that. Don't want to end up being diabetic and shit. Oh, my God. But that's what's been going on. Today's topic, when did India get batshit crazy? That's a good question, I think, because for the longest time, you never really heard much about what's going on in India. And then, of course, the World Wide Web came along, and now we find out what's happening everywhere pretty much as soon as it happens. One of the bigger stories that I've talked about is, all the rapes that have occurred in India over the last couple of years. Mind you, I'm pretty sure rapes occurred before, but now we're getting the news so much faster, especially when it comes to gang rapes or women being assaulted in their Uber rides, So a lot of that going on. I had no idea there was so much pent-up sexual and violent frustration amongst Indian men. Did not know this. But apparently there is. And there's a lot of other stuff going on in India. Let's go with our first one here. Hold on here. First story here. Apparently, Hindus in India are looking to reconvert non-Hindu Indians. What's been going on here, according to LA Times here, let's see here, from Mumbai, India, by his count, if I mispronounced these, my apologies, Riyankadesh Abdeo has helped convert some 700,000 Indian Christians and Muslims to Hinduism over the last 2 decades. But he would describe it differently. He says, quote, "It is not conversion, it is reconversion." Or in his own words, "It is not conversion, it is reconversion." Sorry, I couldn't help myself. And I'm going to do it again. 1,000 years ago, all the Muslims and Christians in India were Hindu. Now they were converted by the sword. We are just bringing them back to the original faith. And now imagine a little head bob back and forth that I'm doing right now. Hindu fundamentalists claim that Christian missionaries and Muslim conquerors centuries ago converted Indians by force and have for years quietly sought to win them back. Apparently, it's not so quiet anymore. There is a big push in India now to try to get all Indians to be Hindu. Of course, what type of Hindu you are does matter to some people, because there has been some violence going on, but we will get to that. Now, among the things that pisses off the people that are trying to reconvert Indians back to Hinduism is the fact that, besides the fact that they were conquered, but what's really making the news is a lot of what they do occurs on specific, what could be considered Western holidays, or Christian holidays even. Let's see. Going to this here, this controversy pits people like Bhagwat, who believes that India is a Hindu nation, and against the secular values enshrined in Indian constitution. According to a 2001 census, the most recent figures available, 80.5% of India's 1.3 billion people are Hindus. Muslims make up roughly 13.4% of the populations, and Christians make up 2.3% of the religious minorities. Now, that's I guess compared to the rest of India, that's not a lot of people, but it is when you consider that, roughly 20% of the population is not Hindu. And that's a big number in and of itself. I mean, combined, individually, the religions don't make up shit. I mean, yeah, Muslims make up the largest population of non-Hindu at 13.4%, but considering the overall area there, that's to be expected. 2.3% Christian. And in order to try to get Indians back into Hinduism, they plan events around Christian holidays. Like, for instance, Christmas being the biggest one. There was an event where for Christmas, where they targeted 5,000 Muslims and Christians in Aligarh, where they were called off after an outcry in the national media. So what happened was they decided they were going to go with this big Hindu reconversion event on December 25th, Christmas, to try to reconvert, Christians to Hinduism. Of course, that brought out a lot of anger from Christian groups, saying that they could have chosen any other day, but they picked December 25th of all days to provoke us, end quote, said Sunil Luke, pastor at two churches in Aligarh. Now, Khaled Ahmed, a Muslim cleric in Aligarh, said Hindu groups had promised poor Muslims cash or other benefits to attend the conversion ceremony. Now, I got to question this here. If you have to bribe people, are they really converting? Are they really changing their overall belief system? Or are they just fucking hungry? I think, if I haven't eaten anything in like 3 weeks, and you tell me if I pray to the Hindu gods, I can have a sandwich, well, then I'm going to do it. And then right after I eat my sandwich, I'm going to go off and have a drink and fuck you. Now, Hindu fundamentalists have also spoken out against interfaith marriages. They believe that it's absolutely ridiculous for a Hindu to marry a Muslim or a Christian. Hindu fundamentalists have spoken out against the interfaith marriages, accusing Muslims of marrying Hindu girls to convert them to Islam in a practice dubbed, quote, love jihad. What they're espousing here is the overall belief, the fundamental belief that all Indians are Hindu, regardless of what they decide to do, what they choose to do. By what these guys are saying, they're saying that you're a Hindu. That's just it. You are a Hindu. You are not a Muslim. You are not a Christian. You're not an atheist. You're not agnostic. You're not allowed to be. You were born Hindu. You are Hindu. Okay? And they see it not just simply as a religion, but also a part of their racial makeup of who they are. Not, unlike, say, Judaism. The Jewish people are considered a religion and a people, and you don't separate the two. But like I said, I don't necessarily think that this is like the most loving of ways to get things done. Do you? In even heavier news from India, there have been reports of rebels killing nearly 70 people in India. From Mumbai, India, Indian parliamentary forces rushed to the restive North eastern state of Assam on Wednesday after separatist rebels gunned down nearly 70 people in a spasm of violence linked to long-running land and tribal disputes. The coordinated attacks late Tuesday were carried out by ethnic Bodos who have long agitated for an independent state against settlers known as Adivasi, many of whom work as Assam's tea plantations. In the retaliatory strikes Wednesday, several Bodo villages and hundreds of households were set ablaze. Why can't we all just get along? I don't want to go off on religious rants too much today. I really don't, because this goes so far beyond religion. I mean, this is not just about religion; it's about ethnicity. These people, are basically still all Indians. Most likely, most of them still Hindus. But within the being Hindu, there still comes ethnicity. And just like if you go to Mexico, you have what people know as your regular Mexicans. And then you also have the tribal factions that are still present in Mexico. That have more of a I don't know, an Aztec, Mayan kind of look to them, more of an American Indian kind of look to them, and not like, just sombreros and funky little mustaches. They are closer to the original inhabitants of Mexico than your everyday average Mexican, which tends to be a mix of black, Spanish, English, and of course the natural Indians that they did find there. So there are always going to be some separations. And mind you, religion doesn't matter in this case. It's all about the ethnicity. They've decided that we may be Indians, we may be Hindus, but you're Bodos and we're not, and fuck you. We want our own place. I'm like, God dang it. Now in the attacks, Indian news reports say that in the district of Korajar, the victims included 18 children and 21 women. You see, here's one of the points that I have a problem with here. I understand, that you have your issues with people, okay, and you don't agree with them, you don't like them, you don't want to be around them. You don't have to. The simple truth that you really don't have to interact with them if you don't want to. I mean, you can find places where you can go and and just have basically your own little Indian ghetto of your own Bodo ghetto or Adivasi ghetto, if you like. Neighborhoods, call them neighborhoods, don't call them ghettos, whatever you want to fucking call it. But you can do these things. You don't have to interact with certain people if you don't feel like it. But going out and killing them, including women and children, having a war with people that don't know that they're in a war is ridiculous. And again, it all comes down to when you. I think like I said, beyond religion tonight, I'm thinking it goes into your self-identity. How do you identify yourself? And does that necessarily mean that other people that don't identify themselves the way you do, are they any less than you? Are they any worse than you? Are they evil people? The United States has a long, not so proud history of thinking that, certain people are better than others based on the color of their skin, what religion they are, what financial class they're in, where do your ancestors come from? You can be white, you can be of the same religion, you can make the same amount of money, but if you're Irish instead of German in background, well then you're shit. Ridiculous. Indian forces declared a curfew in infected areas, but advocates for the Bodo people said security measures are weak and retaliatory attacks could continue. Non-governmental groups say violence between Bodos among the region's original inhabitants and settlers groups have killed at least 10,000 people, mostly civilians, over the last 3 decades. And more on when did India get batshit crazy when I get back. Our first song today was brought to you by Troy Klein, known as Life Goes On. Next song by Troy Klein is I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore. I'm Joe the Shirt, I'm Off the Cuff, and I'll be right back.
There's a place out there I should be going. There's a life out there I should be living. But I'm here instead, lying in my bed, dreaming of a life I should know. There's a girl out there I should be loving. On a starry night with the moonlight glowing, I've got to get out of my head, wake up, I've got an old life to shed. 'Cause I don't wanna be here anymore.
But I do. Show the shirts off the cuff.
Go climb a tree, be
Welcome back, everybody. Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. We are talking about India being batshit crazy. And it continues, actually. As I've told you before, Hindus in India, very upset with the whole idea of the secularization of their country, the non-Hinduism of their country, and just the overall non-Indian way of being in India. And it goes well beyond Christmas. It goes to other holidays as well. As you all remember, about 3 weeks ago was Valentine's Day. Hope you all had a good time, didn't fight too much. But if you happen to be a couple celebrating Valentine's Day in India, well, then you may have come across a couple of issues. Number one among them, Hindu fundamentalists forcing you to get married. That is correct. From Mumbai, India, Indian couples need to be on their toes for Valentine's Day because merely expressing their love in public could lead to unintended marriages. Right-wing Hindu groups continuing an annual campaign against what they see as an indecent, quote, Western festival, end quote, have vowed to force marriage on the couples attempting to celebrate the holiday on that Saturday. Could you imagine that? You're a couple, you're dating, you're having a good time, you decide to celebrate Valentine's Day, you want to go out for a day, buy your lady some roses, some chocolates, and instead you're being forced to be married by a Hindu fundamentalist. According to these groups, quote, roaming around in public without marriage does not fit in Indian culture. If we find such young couples, we will get them married off. Or said another way, roaming around in public without marriage does not fit in Indian culture. If we find such young couples, we will get them married off. And head bob, head bob, head bob, head bob, head bob. According to this, Hindu fundamentalists were on the lookout for couples carrying roses or canoodling at malls and parks. Another right-wing group, Bajrang Dal, reportedly plans to deploy priests in parks in the northern city of Lucknow to conduct shotgun wedding ceremonies as needed. And mind you, the fact that you may not be out in public does not protect you. According to these groups, the Hindu, let me pronounce this, Mahasbas campaign is also keeping track of social media. Quote, anyone expressing their love on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp will be caught hold of, he said. So so think about it, the Hindu police are trolling the internet, looking at your Facebook page to see if maybe you're being romantic with somebody, and they're going to go find you if they can and force you to get married. Now, the question then remains, well, what if an unmarried couple isn't even Hindu? For instance, like I said earlier, there's like over 13% of the population in India is Muslim. About 2.3% is Christian. What happens if, you don't happen to be a Hindu? Well, according to this, Let's see. Sarma said that young males would have to sit through a purification process to become Hindu before being married. So what they're saying is, not only are they going to force you to get married, but they're going to force you to convert and then to get married. And all this time you thought you were just having a good time. Let's see. Allies of the Hindu right-wing political parties have attacked couples on Valentine's Day, actual physical attacks, and issued threats to restaurants, malls, and clubs that attempted to mark the holiday. Oh, my God. Now, according to officials of India, it is completely illegal to force anybody to get married. It's completely illegal to force anybody to convert their religion. But they seem to be doing very little about it. As you know, a lot of India is still lives under a very tribal mindset, wherein, you do what's good for the tribe, not what's good for you. And thus, rather than going to the police, they go to their village elders and seek advice or what you might call legal recourse from them. And in many instances, just simply, if you do go to the police ignore you and tell you to just be on your way and just, not get caught by the Hindus. Amazing. And speaking of Valentine's Day and India, among the things you will be seeing in India will not be 50 Shades of Grey. Apparently, India's Central Board of Film Certification declined to approve the film for release. Universal, the movie studio behind the project, says that the nudity in the film had been cut and sexually explicit scenes toned down in an attempt to appease Indian censors. It did not work. They decided it's just too sexy to be released there, which is kind of funny when you consider that the book by E.L. James is on the Indian bestseller list. So you can buy the book, read it, get yourself off if you like with it, but you can't go see the movie at a movie theater. Maybe you can get it on DVD or Blu-ray or VHS or... Oh, fuck it, it's India. They're watching Betamax still. They are. Good God. What else have we... What have we got here today? Here's one for you. Actually, before we move on, let's do celebrity birthdays. It's been, I forgot to do it last time, so I'll do it today. I got birthdays for yesterday and today, so let's get it covered, okay? If your birthday was yesterday, March 9th, you share birthdays with actress Juliette Binoche, or is she a singer? I'm not even sure, actually. From the 80s sitcoms days, Emmanuel Lewis is 44 years old and still looks like a fat 10-year-old. Brian Bosworth of NFL fame is turned 50. Matt Barnes of NBA fame is 35. Steve Wilkos from the Jerry Springer Show is 51 years old. You remember the big bald security guy. Matthew Gray Gubler from Criminal Minds is 35. And Bow Wow, formerly known as Little Bow Wow, is 28. And if your birthday is today, March 10th, you share birthdays with softcore porn actress Shannon Tweed is 58 years old. Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, is 51. John Hamm from the Mad Men fame is 44 years old. Rapper Conceited is 26. Jasmine Guy from A Different World fame is 53 years old. Paget Brewster, also from Criminal Minds, is 46 years old. Sharon Stone is 57 years old, but looking 67. Olivia Wilde, still hot as ever, is 31 years old. Singer Robin Thicke is 38. Singer Carrie Underwood is 32. And the one, the only, Chuck motherfucking Norris is 75 years old today. Wow, Chuck Norris. Jesus Christ. I never even watched a single episode of that Walker Texas Ranger show. I never watched a single episode of it, but I used to love his films when I was a kid, like a Code of Silence. That movie kicked ass. Oh my God. Moving back home to West Hollywood, and I do mean West Hollywood. There is something new on the horizon. A new law here in West Hollywood has passed, wherein any place that has a public restroom that only has room for one person at a time must be designated as a no-sex bathroom. Now, by that I don't mean you're not allowed to go in there and have sex. That's not what I mean. I'm saying that you're not allowed to identify the bathroom in any way, shape, or fashion that denotes that it's only for one sex or another. Okay, so you can't have, a picture of a man on the door, the little guy with the circle head and the little stick body. You can't have a little picture of a woman, circle head wearing a skirt, on the door. But you can have both. Okay, you have to. Now, I don't really particularly object to this, to be honest with you. I find it to be a bit of a non-issue. I think if you have a single stall bathroom, it can only accommodate one person at a time. Then just have the word restroom or bathroom on the door. I don't think you need to have a picture of a man and a woman on the door. It just says public restroom, public bathroom. Anybody can go in. Like I say, it's not really an issue other than the fact that they made it an issue. And the reason they made it an issue is because of all the transgenders we tend to have here in Hollywood, also known as trannies, drag queens, transitioning, people that are, born one sex but identify as the other. And again, if you're a man that likes to dress up as a woman and it's a single stall bathroom anyway, there's nobody else in there, then go on ahead and use the ladies' bathroom. If you're a woman that identifies as a man and dresses up and acts like a man and it's a single stall bathroom, then go ahead. It doesn't really make a difference, whether or not, apparently, in some of the gay bars, it's an issue because at the end of the night at the gay bars, the guys, tend to hang out a lot more. There tends to be a lot more guys hanging out at gay bars than there are women. End of the night, they're all waiting to go to the bathroom before they go home, and then you have the ladies' room on the other side over there, not being used by anybody, but they're not allowed to use the ladies' bathroom. I'm like, why the fuck not? Just go in. Apparently, according to the LAGBT, Los Angeles gay, lesbian, whatever, they believe that by identifying the bathrooms as a men's room or a ladies' room, that when a person that is transgender decides to use one of these facilities, that they are basically outing themselves. I'm like, you're 6'3" in a black mini dress and you have an Adam's apple. You're out, pal. Just letting you know. Like I say, it is a non-issue, for me. Just put the words bathroom. You don't have to put up the word gender neutral if only one person is allowed to go in there at a time. But it does, like I say, it doesn't matter. Like I say, it's not an issue until they decided to make it one. And I'm making it an issue here because the issue is that it's stupid. It's unnecessary. But again, doesn't offend me. I think what offends me more is the fact that somebody put this much thought and time and effort and money to get this done. All the things that we consider that we consider going on in the universe, in our little world, and this is what some people got all up in arms about. Yeah, I'm going to say it's fucking stupid. And with that in mind, we're going to take a break. Here's more by Troy Klein, also known as You and I Were Meant to Be. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff. I'll be right back.
Walking down the street, shuffling my feet, dreaming of sunshine. The day would be so fine when I'm here with you. But you're out of reach again, so I descend to the present. The weather's not so pleasant, think I'll stay inside. I could get lost in the rain and wander for hours, but my will is weak and I don't have the powers to keep from dreaming of you. Now, girl, I've known from the start, so please don't depart. You cannot deny my love to reply. Believe me.
Believe me, show the shirts. Off the cuff, but not on my knees. Welcome back. All right, let's try some smaller, maybe not quite so heavy stories out there. How are you doing money-wise these days? Do you have enough? Can you make the rent? Can you make the mortgage payment? Can you make the car payment? Can you feed your kids? Can you send them to college? Can you afford your own life? That's what I want to know. There's a growing number of people in this country that cannot afford their own lives. Food, medical expenses, school, kids, supporting a spouse that maybe doesn't work, maybe supporting other family members like elderly parents. Money's hard to come by for a lot of people. But not if you happen to be on the Forbes list of richest people in the world. We, of course, are talking about billionaires. Billionaires. Gotta love billionaires. Added to the list of billionaires, and mind you, the list is big. There is now a record 1,826 billionaires in the world. These 1,826 people account for $7.05 trillion. That is their combined worth. Over $7 trillion. Just these 1,826 people, which when you consider that there's over 7 billion on the planet, that's impressive. So yeah. Now that is significantly more than now of these. That's significantly more than the combined net worth of the 6.4 trillion that billionaires tallied in 2014. So that's a $1 trillion jump in just 1 year for this group. All right. Now, while there's more billionaires, the average net worth for your average billionaire actually went down $60 million, so that your average billionaire has about $3.86 billion. Oh, poor babies. They're going to have to get the smaller jumbo jet. They're going to have to get the smaller Caribbean island. Oh, God, no. But let's not worry about these guys too much. Let's see. Now, of the richest people in the world, Bill Gates still is at the top of the list. He actually has more money this year than he did last year, with an additional $3.2 billion, bringing his total personal wealth to $79.2 billion. Rounding up the top five, you have, telecom mogul Carlos Slim Helú at $77.1 billion, investor Warren Buffett at $72.7 billion, Zara founder Amancio Ortega, $64.5 billion, and Oracle founder-owner of Lanai, Larry Ellison, is worth $54.3 billion. Ellison was the top Californian on the list. Just barely making the list this year for the very first time with a net worth of $1 billion, the one and only Michael Jordan is finally on the list. I mean, yeah, he's barely there. He's like, okay, I got $1 billion. So as long as I don't spend any money on anything, I'm in the club. According to this, California has more billionaires than any other country in the world but the United States and China. So China and the United States, as the countries go, have more billionaires than any other country in the world, with the exception of just the state of California. California is third. Okay, California is one of the biggest economies on the planet. All right, as economically, California would do better to separate itself from the rest of the country. Not me, though. I'm still poor as hell. So if you didn't happen to make the list this year, buck up. There's always next year. Okay? Don't worry about it. You'll make it. Don't worry. Okay. Now, as we all know, New Year's was a couple of months ago, 2.5 to be exact, around there. And as always, I like to keep up on how many DUIs there were here in California specifically. And we have the stats right here. Between 6:01 p.m. December 31st and 6 a.m. Sunday, CHP officers in Los Angeles County made 219 DUI arrests, up 104 from the previous year statewide. That's a big number. That's a big jump. That's more than double. Police are baffled as to why there were so many arrests. They did not, in fact, double their police force. They did not increase their police force at all, really, for New Year's Eve. They kept a regular amount of police. I mean, I was out that night. I was driving. I was working, and I saw less cops on New Year's Eve than on your average Saturday, to be perfectly honest with you. In the calendar year, the CHP made 1,072 arrests, which is a big surge from the previous year of only 457. So people are out there, they're getting drunk and driving more. Over the 84-hour period of the weekend, 14 people in California were killed, including 2 from Los Angeles County. The same number were killed a year ago with only 1 death. So let me put it this way. They arrested twice as many people on DUI this year as they did last year, but the same number of people died. So basically, their tactics have been fruitless. There's no point. And you got to remember, out of the 219 people that they did arrest, there's probably thousands that were driving while under the influence and got away with it. Again, keeping it light, a El Dorado High School school teacher from Orange County was found dead in her classroom, hanging. One Jillian Jacobson was, according to the reports, was a breath of fresh air to the students who found inspiration in her photography classes. But the descriptions of the 31-year-old as a fun, upbeat instructor seemed to fade into the background Monday when a group of her students and a fellow teacher found her hanging from the ceiling in her classroom. The teacher's husband was notified, grief counselors were summoned to the campus, and afternoon classes were canceled. Police later said the woman's death appeared to be a suicide. You gotta wonder. You really have to wonder what it is. You know, it's one thing to commit suicide. You do it at home. You take a lot of pills. You shoot yourself. Whatever it is you do. You drink poison. Whatever it is you do. Suicide tends to be a decently private event, but to go off and hang yourself in your classroom where students are going to come in and see you there. I mean, what statement were you making exactly? I mean, you're not just killing yourself for yourself. You are trying to say something. You are sending a message there. I mean, she could have just hung herself at home. She could have waited till after school when everybody was gone and hung herself in the classroom. If she wanted to make it private, But no, she did it before the students were coming in. Overall, I don't care. To be perfectly honest, I really don't care if people kill themselves, unless I know them. Then it makes a difference to me. But like I said before, people get killed and kill themselves every day in this world of ours. I can't bring myself to care about all of them because it's impossible. I care about the ones I know. And I'm sure that the people in Jillian's life, they cared about her, and they are gonna be wondering because, like I said, by all accounts, she was the most fun, upbeat teacher ever. So like I've always said, you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know it could have been her marriage was breaking apart. Maybe she was getting divorced. Maybe she found out she was terminally ill. It could have been a zillion different things. My question is, why does she have to do it so publicly? I said, there's a message there, and I want to find out what it is. God damn it. Again, keeping it light, suspect held in body parts case. Police have arrested a man in connection with a grisly find in which a body was found dismembered and stuffed in a suitcase in downtown San Francisco. Mark Andrus, 59 years old, was booked early Saturday morning on suspicion of murder. Officers had received a call about a suspicious package outside a Goodwill store and made the gruesome discovery when they opened the suitcase. Investigators later found additional dismembered remains in a trash can nearby. So he was donating the body parts to Goodwill. What did he do? Just go in there and said, hey man, I'm here to help out. I'm here to lend a hand and a foot and a head. Actually, forget lending it. You can keep it. You guys may not know who Rolando Garcia is, but apparently he was shopping not too long ago at a meat market in Covina when he spotted a mother and her 2-year-old son. He had just found out that his trucking company in Irwindale, a business that he had grown from the ground up, had done very well in 2014. Garcia was in a giving mood. He said he complimented the mother and the boy and peeled off $100 bills so she could buy something for her son. He was just in a good mood and gave her $100, to buy something for her kid, because he was making money. He was feeling good, right? Well, he was arrested because apparently she reported the interaction to the police and accused Garcia and a friend of trying to buy the baby from the woman. The Covina police said Thursday they believe that it was a case of human trafficking. They released a description of Garcia and his friend, a pastor, who was pictured pushing a shopping cart in a screen grab from a store camera. Outside of the store, he offered the $100 to the woman to buy something for her child. Garcia had noted that her son looked remarkably like his son, and the pastor who was with him urged the woman to please take the money. Garcia ended up dropping the bill in her shopping cart, and the woman then called the police. No good deed goes unpunished. Good God, this is a man who was having a good year. He was doing shopping with his pastor and wanted to be helpful, wanted to be kind, wanted to be generous, and tried to give, and then was arrested for human trafficking. In other news, a former U.S. Army prosecutor who oversaw sexual assault cases has been convicted on rape charges. Let me read that again. A former U.S. Army prosecutor who oversaw sexual assault cases has been convicted on rape charges. No, that's what you call irony. Major Eric J. Burris was found guilty on 2 charges of rape, a charge of forcible sodomy, 4 charges of assault, and a charge of disobeying an order, the Army said in a 5-sentence statement. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison, dismissed from service, and ordered to forfeit all pay. He could not be reached for comment. Oh my God, that's like one of the big betrayals, isn't it? You're a prosecutor. You prosecute sex crimes. It is your job to find the sexual predators out there and punish them, and you happen to be one of them. Makes you wonder if he how hard he pushed to convict these sexual offenders. I would think he probably went whole hog crazy to try to prosecute sexual offenders because he is one. It's a very common tactic among hypocrites. Churches being among the biggest ones. Pastors, priests, school teachers. Who try to tell everybody how to run their lives in a moral and ethical way, and then you find out they have a sex dungeon in their homes where they ball gag small children. Oh, well. And that's my time. Good God, the time goes by fast. And like I said, the Animal Show is coming. Do not worry. Here's one more song, this time not by Troy Klein. Actually, it's by Urban D, Speck, and Los. This is called The Principle. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I've been off the cuff.
Night Owls 3, Syntax, Flavor Alliance. The world's about exploitation, sexploitation. The media got us overloaded, we can't keep our concentration. Much less our morals, painting pornographic murals. This joint is like Sodom and Gomorrah. Nobody reads the Torah. Let's read Dora, the Explorer. Maybe she'll cure you from your ills. This whole planet gives me the chills, even though it's global warming. The Gulf of Mexico in my backyard storming. In the meantime, cats are swarming to get a piece of what we do. Authentic and true, a hip-hop focused ministry. Wow, that's new. Hey, let's send the camera crew.
We'd like to sign you for a reality TV show.
For real, we have the offers, we